Hey, it's Kristen Garth, and I'm here to talk to you about the Succinct Striptease of short form poetry. And I'm not there at the Southern Literary Festival where no one is because all of us and the whole planet are going through a terrible time right now. But we're all here together in spirit, and we can all still learn. And because I'm here, I actually get to show you a little tiny bit of what is one of my biggest images in my poetry, and that's what I want to talk to you about today is imagery and poetry and how important that is as a tool. That the language is a tool, but the image is what we produce, and what we take an image from our head, and we hopefully use the right words to convey it in a way that even if it's the most specific image to us that we think no one would ever relate to, like the poem I'm about to read to you, which is about me stripping and then going and buying dollhouse furniture at Walmart and coming home and playing with a pink plastic house. I didn't know anyone else that was doing that and at the time, and I felt very alone at that time in my life. And when I told the story, I still don't think people maybe specifically were doing that specific thing, but they related. People relate to trying to find, while you're doing something that might be adult or dark or just, not at the complete core of who you are, finding that softness inside of yourself and preserving it in whatever situation that is. I think people relate to that. And so if you're very specific with an image to the point of details that make it so unique, sometimes you can be very universal. And I'm going to read this poem about the pink plastic house because it became a chapbook. It became, first became a poem, then it became a chapbook, then it became a journal, and now it's even a press. So that image has taken me a long way. And I'm going to, if I can find it in here. There we go. Pink plastic house. The house you buy at 25 is pink and 4 feet tall. Twilight Walmart purchase you make with cash you mine from men who think it's all pretend. The pigtails and nervous titter they believe to be a put-on. The 5-inch heels and ache they think you fake to take their money. Shake for them till dawn and buy a plastic puppy. Plates heart-shaped to set a tiny table meant for 2, and it's just you. In knee socks, hover high above 3 stories, with something new to sate the child inside you can't deny. A plastic house you furnish with pink dreams. A woman child, exactly what you seem. So, in that poem, I introduced myself as a woman child, and obviously you can see probably how that manifests for me, which is very, on point, and I don't mind wearing that part of my soul on my sleeve, as they would say. But I've met so many women who come from abuse backgrounds who relate to that term woman child, maybe secretly, and maybe they would never wear pigtails or, embrace that publicly, and for maybe good reason, because they have been hurt very badly when they were a child, and so they protect that. But they have told me in messages how much they relate to that image of a woman child, because when you are abused, often you have a little bit of a stunted personality. I mean, you have a part of you who is always that age that you were abused. And I don't think it's that way for everyone, and I certainly can't speak for everyone, but I've talked to enough women who've messaged me, contacted me to tell me that was so relevant to them, and that image really spoke to them. And I think the pink plastic house stands for a lot of that. And I really appreciate that people get that about me, and they understand where that need and that draw comes from. So I never thought I'd be understood in that way. And that's what writing and great images can do, is when you find that perfect image that really makes it clear, you can be loved for the things, when you're writing as yourself, I should say. And I do that a lot. But when you put yourself out there and you use the right images, you can be loved for things that you think of as maybe deficits, or things that you never thought you're going to find that particular kind of love. And like I used to feel, as when I did this job, that I played with a dollhouse by myself, in the middle of the night, and I felt like the loneliest girl in the world. And that is not to say that there aren't times that I feel that way now, but at the same time, I am a person who now plays a dollhouse with people all over the world, and it's surreal, and it makes me very emotional. But it's the power of images. And later, at the end of this, so this is only going to be a 15-minute lecture, because that's the longest I can upload on YouTube, and that's how I know how to do this. So, but we will have an interactive element where when the lecture is over, you can go to my website, kristengarth.com, and while you're there, you just scroll down from Pink Plastic House, and you'll find a part that says Pink Plastic Residence Hall. And that is all for people who are watching this video right now who want to participate with me in a poetry exercise where I take a picture from the Pink Plastic House, and you can see it up close, and you'll see all the elements, and you're going to choose 10 items from that room and use them in a poem any way you want. And if you submit that poem to me, I'm going to publish them and see how people use these images in different ways to tell their own stories. Because that's the thing, is your images, certainly in that image of Pink Plastic House, I used an image from my own life. Many times I've used images from true crime. I used images from my dreams. I've used images from movies. I recently wrote a poem called Whole, and I take it in a different direction, but the first influence on Whole, which is a poem about a man who digs a hole for a pond, but then he gets depressed and runs out of money, and it becomes a trap. And when someone falls into it, and it's a nefarious situation, he kind of doesn't take credit for the fact that, well, I wasn't starting this way, but the first influence on that poem was the movie The Lovely Bones, which includes, a man who finds a hole, he outfits it, and he's much more aggressive about what he's doing, or admitting what he's doing, at least to himself. But I wanted to use the other kind of metaphor, because it was also a metaphor of depression, and how we can fall into these depressive thoughts and dark thoughts really out of something that once maybe was good, and then it turns bad and sours. And so I had a different motivation for my metaphor, but the initial metaphor and the initial image came from a movie I watched. And you can find things like that all the time. And when you find that image that you just can't get out of your head, that's the best gift for a poem. And in that way, I think that all art is ekphrastic, because it all comes from that image in your head that you want to see, that you just can't get out. And it's, the words and the language, we work for all that, but it starts with that picture and it ends with a picture in someone else's head. So anyway, I'm going to read you another poem, and this one is about how the other one's kind of how I started out. And then the next poem, if I can find it in my book here, it's towards the back, and I lost my, I'm so prepared. I had a bookmark and I lost it, but it's a really important poem to me, and we're gonna find it. It's called Girl with a Pen, and it's about what my other big message in life is for anyone, which is that it's never too late to do this. I found it. Because I started back when I was over 40 years old, and I had to just do it every day. There was no procrastinating time anymore, because I had done that for 20 years. But I'm so glad to be doing what I'm doing. And here's an image of a girl with a pen, and that's the image I want to be for the rest of my life, and I hope all of you too. Or the boys. It can be a boy with a pen. Girl with a pen. A southern snowflake in blizzard descends. The winter you're born, beach town snowed in. An alabaster tourist never blends. You're not like your parents, you don't pretend. Your town's churches, strip clubs, Puritan sin. You know very well by the time you're 10. It's beaten inside you till you comprehend. Their notion of naked you will transcend. They show you their souls while you show them your skin. Champagne room secrets, you let them listen. Girl just beginning, they don't know your end. You write in pink ink, these businessmen. It's who you become, not how you begin. How they will know you is Girl with a Pen. That poem is very emotional because, again, I'm doing this now, and I did it. I was once a person who I don't think people gave a lot of credit to or took very seriously, and I still don't think people take me very seriously, or even that I take myself that seriously. But I know that I inspire people to go back and do things, and I show that it's possible, and it is possible. And one thing I would like to say, besides pick good images and go to my website and do this prompt so I can publish you, okay? KristenGarth.com, Pink Plastic House, Pink Plastic Residency, a residence hall, sorry. But one thing I would like to say before I finish up is I've kind of learned recently, I was very, gung-ho when I came back, and it's like, it's never too late, and it isn't. It's never too late. Don't give up, and it's not a message to say give up in any way. But I have learned in the last just a little bit of time with this virus, with the fact that I just got diagnosed with a heart condition. And I went and had a test yesterday and just found out today that I have a valve problem, and I don't know exactly what that means. But I do know just from these experiences that, we all are on borrowed time. And it's my fault, that I put things off as I did. But at the same time, I just want to tell you all, well, if you are a younger person, take advantage of it. Take the break if you need to take a break, but get back as fast as you can. Don't put it off, because you have so much to say. I have so much to say, and I hope I get the chance to say it all. I don't want to get too emotional. I'm going to end it here, but I want you to go to my website and finish out this prompt with me and do a poem I can publish in my Pink Plastic House residence hall just for us, okay? And use the 10